In literary studies, we have heard this word called literary canon. If I have to explain it simply, a literary canon is a group or a body of work which is a part of a particular culture or a community which are studied in schools, universities, which are part of the syllabus of the students and which are constantly evolving through criticism and through other theories by the critics and scholars. So you can see these work are very influential because they are the literary representative of this particular community. But the problem is when a literary canon is established, it is always a representation of the privileged class. Because let's be honest, to publish a work and to make people read it is a task. And to make people actually take that work and study it and make it part of a syllabus or make it a part of discussion is another hustle. And to rise to that level, you have to have a certain kind of privilege. So, most of the time, when students or scholars read these books, they ignore a lot of other work that are not part of the literary canon because they come from margins, they come from the people who are not privileged and they are not part of this privileged elite section of the society. So, as a reader, it is our duty to look beyond the literary canon. Obviously, we should read the literary canon and we should understand the representative literature, but with that, we should also include the other books which are not part of that bigger canon. And that is why the Dalit canon or the other literary canon, like post colonial literary canon, have been emerging in the studies of literature lately because those tells, those books are equally, even sometimes more important than the books in the existing canon.